Hi everyone! Thanks for tuning in to Bonus Stages channel. I'm a sheet music transcriber and a video game cover artist, Maiden. I typically DJ for shows, but I wanted to try something different for the virtual fests. My true passion is transcribing sheet music, and I decided one day to just try making covers out of my own transcriptions. I took it another step and thought, why not? Let's try DJing some of these too. I first transcribed music from Starbound, then decided to try out some tracks from the video game Gunvolt. It makes it a more meaningful task for me to DJ my own tracks. Last time, I went over a few transcriptions from Bloodstained, Curse of the Moon. Today, I'll be going over my sheet music from Armed Blue Gunvolt. The Gunvolt games are created by Indie Creates. If that company sounds familiar to you, they previously developed Mega Man Zero. The Indie Creates sound team, led by Ippo Yamada, is also involved with the games after Mega Man Zero, including Gunvolt. I have a long history with the Mega Man series, and the X and Zero series are my favorite. The Zero series tracks were definitely unique, and I really enjoyed Indie Creates sound team's remastered CD tracks. By remastered, they were totally remixed, and I appreciated the creativity involved in this process. Their sound team is part of my inspiration today to keep transcribing and creating video game covers. Today's format will be similar to last time. I'll show you my traditional sheet music transcription, and then I'll let you hear my remixed version of it. This is pre-recorded, but I am around chat to answer questions. Let's start with a song I recently released on Spotify and Apple Music. So, before I dive into the first transcription, a few things to note. I am a sheet music transcriber novice. I'm still learning concepts. I'm spending time to learn new concepts and apply them to future transcriptions. So, you'll probably notice strange spelling mistakes in the notation itself for some of these older transcriptions. Do let me know if you see these mistakes, and I might have time to clean them up. Every sheet music transcription I do is done entirely from scratch, just by ear. I use MuseScore to annotate, and I just go on YouTube to listen to the track. I often slow the track down to try to listen to the notes more carefully. The first stage is called the Bewitching City. This character has a very fun stage going on, inverting gravity and flipping the orientation in more ways than one. I had a fun time playing the stage, and it was a bit of a longer stage, so there was time for their theme to sink in. Their music is an easy favorite for me in this game. There's a lot going on in the track itself, but since I transcribed it 4 years ago, I only captured 2 lines. I actually remade this cover since the first cover attempt was 4 years ago. I learned a lot making this mix back then, and it was a lot of fun to spruce it up. You'll see a bit of gameplay too, so if you do plan on playing Gunvolt 1 or 2, and would prefer not to see any spoilers, perhaps don't watch the video. Jewel's theme is a super sweet song. Jewel is the main character of Gunvolt's, or simply GV's, companion. He rescues her despite his initial orders of eliminating her. Jewel was being held captive and GV gives her a place to stay. In the game, you have very sweet conversations together, and every time you talked with her, it increased your chance of having a resurrection anthem, which would allow your character to come back to life. It's a pretty cool concept, and is really useful when you're fighting a really difficult boss. I remade this cover recently because I wanted to publish it on Spotify. I crafted an original solo inside this cover as well. It's fun to use my own sheet music as reference, but also think outside of it and try to create some melody lines that aren't part of the original. It gives the audience the sense that, yeah, I can recognize the original tune, but there's also a distinctive flair. Growing up, I always appreciated listening to video game remixes and covers that put in their own original solo. I thought it was so cool.
簡単に命を投げ出すな。君が自由を望むのなら、僕が力を貸す。シオン。
そんな、私と GV のつながりが。
The middle transcription was a quick choice for me. It's the sweetest song in Gunvolt 2, and I quickly grew to like Middle as a character in the game. She is one of the main character's sister. She isn't able to speak, and part of the game is unraveling the mystery of why. I had a lot of difficulty identifying the key of this piece, so had to consult a friend of mine who went to music school. I have a very primitive way of identifying pieces by whether they sound happy or sad to differentiate major or minor, but that's not quite entirely right. This piece's key is a bit more ambiguous than Jules' theme. By the key signature, it could be F major or its relative minor, D minor. At first glance, this piece seems to start and resolve in F a lot, so I thought it might have been in F major. However, the bass never really escaped D, so this piece is actually in D minor. That means Middle's theme and Jules' theme are both in D minor. This is pretty significant given their character developments, but I won't say too much more in case you haven't played the game yet. This is definitely my favorite Gunvolt cover. I already fell in love with the melody to begin with, but I'm really happy with the original solo I inserted. I also managed to combine a snippet of Jules' theme into the cover, since they're in the same key. It's done in a meaningful way, and if you play through the game, you'll see why. Quinn is a friend of GV. I wanted to thank 88bit for reviewing this piece with me. You can see that I've filled out the course a bit more in this sheet music versus the previous sheet music you've seen, as I'm relearning some music theory concepts. Out of the three ladies' themes, Jewel, Mittel, and Quinn, I have to say Mittel is my favorite, but Quinn's is also growing on me. Did you know that all three are composed by Ryo Kawakami? Quinn's theme is in F major, the relative major of D minor. Also, we never found out the truth of Quinn's abilities, so her character is actually quite mysterious. I don't have a cover of her theme, but I may one day craft one.
すっごく似合ってるよ GV。
「
This song in the Gunvolt game didn't really stand out to me until later. One evening, I woke up from a nightmare and this song suddenly started playing in my head. It took a while to realize which song it was from the Gunvolt game. It actually gave me anxiety to listen to it. The sense of mood it gives me is quite fitting because in this stage, GV is rescuing the character Jewel. The gameplay of this stage has a sense of desperation, and I feel this song really portrays this quite well. This is a very early transcription for me, so there are spelling mistakes all over. I'm demonstrating this piece to give you an idea that anyone can start from scratch, and to consider annotating with a sheet music program of your choice. I'm using MuseScore, and it's just as great as having a keyboard next to you because it sounds out the note as you notate them on the sheet. The program really encouraged me to get back into transcribing, and it was a lot less intimidating to learn and relearn some music theory concepts. This is one of the first songs I made a cover out of, so it's an older one. Hopefully it gives you an idea of how I can work with my transcriptions. I might clean this one up a bit to publish on Spotify, but I would have to remove the voice clips. There was voice samples from the game that happened directly in the battle, and it's key in part of the stage. Folks who have played the video game would recognize these famous lines.
視野を連れ去ったお前を僕は許さない。 おしゃべりするつもりはないしなら再び眠っていろ永久に魂アームドブルーよみがえりし悪夢を打ち払え
Thanks for listening to my transcriptions and covers today. You can go to my MuseScore here to take a look at my sheet music transcriptions. Again, feel free to let me know about any spelling or syntax mistakes since I won't be reviewing them in detail while I work on new material. As for my general social media and listening to my video game covers or remixes, please visit my site, jewelmaiden.carrd.co. The best way to support me is to listen to my tracks on iTunes or Apple Music. Other ways to support me is to promote me to other music festivals and conventions. I enjoyed playing for MagFest this year and would be open to other paying festivals. Until then, stay tuned for my next episode of transcriptions. Take a look at my iTunes or Spotify, and I hope you learned something useful. I wanted to shout out to a few special people. Int Creates sound team for composing the original tracks. 88-Bit for answering my music theory questions. Micah for reviewing my covers. Tiny Waves, especially Ben Briggs, for their support. And of course, the Runaway 4 for putting on this bonus stage virtual fest. In addition, I'd like to shout out to my friends who helped me compile some assets for the content in this video. Thanks to Shinstar for helping me with Gunvolt sound effects, and who referenced Luigi's Quick BMS tool. Thanks to Kiwi for helping me reference the Gunvolt dialogue. Skybane Zero for providing the Eridu translations. Zero for crafting the Jewel cover video and answering the video-related questions. And lastly, Yamada-san for answering my questions on composition crediting. Thanks again for tuning into Bonus Stages stream.
I didn't think this is how the game was gonna end.
What are you talking about? It's not over yet.
It's not a bonus stage stream without a bonus stage at the end. Mina Hatazoe composed The Bewitching City, and Ryo Kawakami composed all the other songs today. Let's hear another composition by Kawakami-san, who was an integral part of the Inti Create sound team even back then. I had a lot of fun transcribing this sheet music.
So let's have some fun, why don't we? And go out with a bang!
Oh my gosh, Jewel Maiden, everybody, thank you so much, and we've got you here in the Discord chat too. How are you doing?
Hey, hope everyone enjoyed the video. I wanted to kind of tell everyone that it's not difficult to start transcribing, especially with the MuseScore software. It's open source, it's free, you can download it today and just play around with it. They have a piano roll there, so as soon as you start notating notes on there, it sounds out that exact note. So what I kind of do is like if I want to start transcribing a song, I just kind of sing each of those notes out loud just to kind of be like, oh, does that match that note? And then just start transcribing that way. Like you don't need to know a lot of music theory, but I'm trying to learn a little bit more through 88 Bits help and all my other friends.
Yeah, definitely. And you kind of learn it by osmosis and by necessity too, right?
Yeah, like I started transcribing pretty young because I really liked the Donkey Kong country music. So I always had this handbook with me where I just kind of like start dummy transcribing and putting the notes in, but it had no rhythm, had no like key signature, but I just needed to put enough to kind of like start playing on my piano. And then I kinda got bored of piano for a couple years, transitioned to electric guitar because I really loved, like, Steve Vai, Joe Satriani, all these virtuoso guitar people. I
Hmm.
love them so much. And then after a while, I just kinda, like, didn't do that much music, and then I came back to my roots of, like, piano and sheet music transcribing because I started playing all these video games by indie crates, and I'm like, "Oh my gosh, I really wanna capture these songs and, like, notate them and do something with them." And then it was like, "Oh, I can take this sheet music and start making video game remixes and maybe DJ them too." So it's like kind of like a progressive thing.
Yeah, definitely. And I think you've kind of like developed the sound of your remixes and stuff kind of through that as well.
Yeah, they suck a lot less now, but, I'm still trying to make them better.
Nobody would say that they suck. I don't think there's anybody in the chat here who would dare say that to you, Joel. You're a treasure. Um,
Aw.
yeah, and like I said earlier, like I really miss doing like live shows with you and stuff like that. But I was kind of curious about like how that works for you. Like, I mean, your video was a lot about transcription, and yeah, doing DJ covers and doing live stuff is amazing. But which one would you pick? Do you think? Would you be like, oh, if I can only transcribe for the rest of my life, I'll go with that, or no, I really need like my live show fix. I'm gonna DJ for the rest of my life.
Ooh, it's really hard to say. I don't really know if I can, like, pick one or the other because I don't know, both are really enjoyable, but my roots do come from transcribing, so transcribing will always hold a much more special place for me than, I guess, DJing. Not to say DJing isn't fun as well, but I just, like, just to speak a little bit more about transcribing, like, I don't know, I just feel like I'm able to shut down from this regular pace of life and define my own zone, so to speak. Like, all I have to do is just focus on the song and just really try to hear the melody lines. And I really like that I can save my progress for my work and continue it another day so it doesn't feel like I've lost anything. DJing is fun too in another way where you get to showcase both your work and your friends' work. So they're two really different activities and it really depends on my mood. But I think, like, I'm more of an introvert, so that's why I kinda like sitting down alone in my computer room and just absorbing the music track and just trying to understand the composer's ways a little bit more and transcribe it, 'cause it's sort of like writing a love letter to the composer by finishing the transcription. So I guess that doesn't really answer the question, but slightly more for transcription based on personality.
Oh my gosh. Well, what's I don't know, like how do you choose the song that you want to transcribe though? Oh
That's
shit.
also a hard one because 'cause I'm actually not really sure about the main reason of why I would choose a song to transcribe. Like, some of the times it could be I have a really great memory of the track while playing the video game. So, like, gameplay and the visuals play a huge part into what I'm listening. And that's why I often can't just listen to the soundtrack itself before I play the game. It doesn't mean anything to me, and the emotions are just not registered there. So, for example, I mentioned in the video today that the song Eridu gives me anxiety to listen to. However, the stage is quite memorable to me because it's quite a long stage, and playing as the main character, Gunvolt, you're desperate to save your companion Jewel from the enemy. So therefore, the song became a part of my memory, and it was almost like I had no choice but to transcribe it. I'm just like, I gotta get it out of my brain. Um,
And
and
onto
then
a
there's
screen.
other songs. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And then there's other songs that are a clear favorite, just like the Middles theme from the video today. I just found it a really sweet songs with the conversations that she has with her caring brother, and it became really memorable that way. Oh, hello.
Oh, sorry. I think somebody is jumping the gun. Caustic guns. Get out of here.
Hi.
It's not your turn yet. Yeah, but that's awesome. Jewel, I think we're just gonna finish up here really quick so we can get on to an intermission. I've got some dinner waiting outside. But I wanted to ask, do you have like any future transcriptions on the way? Anything kind of like that you're working on that you want to release soon? Anything that we
Yeah.
can point people at so that they can hear more of your stuff?
Yeah, in terms of future transcriptions, I still need to clean up a piece from Bloodstained Curse of the Moon. By the way, the second installment for that game just came out yesterday. I'm itching to play it with my partner today just after this, so it'll be great. And so there's stage 7 by Aoi Takeda from the first installment, and I really appreciate having female composers in the industry, so I want to do this one justice. I want her to be happy with this sort of love letter, this transcription, and I need to polish it up. And then after I'm done with that, there's 2 more Mega Man pieces I wanna clean up, and then, yeah, as I said, I'm probably gonna switch over to Bloodstained Curse of the Moon 2 and see which song speaks to me without, trying to Google and see who the composers are, because I don't wanna be biased. I have a couple of, like, favorite composers, but I wanna go into this naturally and let the songs speak to me while I play the video game.
Yeah, no, that's a very valiant approach. Good on you for that. So you haven't like you don't cover songs unless you've like played the game and gotten like really into the essence of it, hey?
Yes, like, the true meaning of making the video game covers is to sort of reflect my good memories from the video game and the gameplay itself.
Yeah. No, that's beautiful, and I think that that comes through with passionate telling of the process that you go through and like just the covers that you do yourselves. I really appreciate it personally.
Thank you.
But yeah, we're gonna let you go now. Thank you for your set, and we'll see you around in the chat if you're not too busy playing your next installation of Curse of the Moon.
Yes,
Yeah,
I'll still be around, but yeah, thanks for tuning in, listening, everyone, and thanks, Josh, for letting me, I guess, educate or let people know about transcriptions.
I'm just happy to have you part of this, Joel. You're awesome,
Aw, you
and
too.
thanks, and yeah, enjoy the rest of your night.
Yeah, good night.
Good night.